And so I went to jump and they hit my legs and I had no burst and I just fell. So we were trying to score. Yeah, but it didn't work.
Yeah, the Drew Brees leap is what you look like you were trying to do.
100%. And I've done it before where you jump and you got it. I've never jumped and they've hit my legs. So I jumped and they hit my legs and I just went dead. And so I promise I could still dunk.
What's unique about playing in Arrowhead? What makes that environment so special?
I've always said it's one of my favorite environments. The crowd is unbelievable. It just it feels like that college atmosphere. Just diehard fans, super loud. One of, if not the loudest stadium I've ever played in, and and they have a really good football team. So it's a fun environment to play in. Very tough to execute and win in, but again, one of my favorite places to play. They'll say all kinds of crazy stuff about your family and you and all that, and it's all a part of it, especially to me since I played there so many times. There's one guy that always says a lot of stuff to me, but we've had fun over the years. But for sure, one of the toughest places to play.
And when going against a player like Patrick Mahomes, I mean, for you as another quarterback, I mean, is that a special challenge as well? I mean, I know you're not playing him, but
yeah, it's definitely tougher for the defense. But as a fellow, quarterback, you want to compete against the best, and it's always a challenge going against Pat because they can score. They can score like that, and he's a champion. He's one of the best quarterbacks to play our game, and so it's always been fun over the years competing against him and going against him. We've had some fun duels at their place, at our back when I was with the Raiders, back and forth. We've had some tough moments going against them. So it's always a challenge, but there's so much respect I have, and Pat knows that, how I feel about him. He's one of the best, and he's always fun to watch.
Derek, how difficult is it? There's a lot of headlining with Patrick Mahomes and offense, but it seems like these first 4 games, this defense has been playing at another level. Have you been seeing the same thing?
Well, I think that when you have such a great quarterback and head coach, and the offense scores points, everyone talks about it, but, for years I'm not going against them. I've been going against Spags, and his defense and Chris and, that secondary and the linebackers and the rushers. I mean, they just, year after year, they create chaos. They create problems for the quarterback. The pressures, you have to have a pressure plan. You got to be ready for all the stuff Spags has in his system. I go back and I remember looking at stuff every year I've ever played him, and just all the stuff that I know that he could potentially or possibly do. And, so there's so much there, and he's, again, talk about an amazing person. I love him as a person. He knows that, but not this week. He's definitely, for a quarterback, a challenge to go against because he knows how to put his guys in good positions with their vision on the quarterback and things like that. So it's always a tough challenge, but it's always fun to go out and compete against the best. They're the champs, and what opportunity for our team to go see what we got.
Derek, how difficult is it to be efficient offensively in that atmosphere? I guess you guys have been in a couple of tough atmospheres so far this season, but how much more difficult is it to be efficient in that atmosphere?
Yeah, it's always tough because the noise, plays a factor, and so, you're going with that, and you're going against the Super Bowl champions, so it's a huge challenge. So is it going to be easy? Absolutely not. But we're excited for that challenge, just like we have been all year. Every week's a new challenge, and this week is a great challenge, for us to go into that atmosphere against that great of a team and compete against them.
What have you seen from the offense these last couple of games? Combined 36, but is it kind of missed opportunities here and there, and those kinds of things?
We talked about the Philly game, but like the last game, I thought we ran the ball efficiently and threw it better, but there was I don't remember the exact drive number, but somewhere in the middle there was some drives in there where we had to punt and we gave them the ball, and so it's like you want to clean everything up, and we're learning as we're going through this season, with different opportunities on different plays of, that makes sense now, so you try and not make that mistake again the next time. And so I felt like we played better last week than we did the week prior, and hopefully we can just keep getting better.
What kind of problems you've had some problems when it comes to pass rush?
Yeah.
He was all over the place. How did you have to identify it and get the ball out?
Yeah, he's one of the best defensive players in our game. Have a lot of respect for Chris and all the times that I've gotten to play against him, and I think the world of him. He's a great player. He's fun to compete against, and he creates challenges all across the offensive line.
The amount that he moves, how important is it to just kind of make sure you're identifying where he is on every particular play?
Yeah, I mean it's a challenge, and Spags knows that. He knows where to make it hard on the system, or make it hard on your team, or personnel, or whatever. And when you have a player like that, just like you think of how they move Micah Parsons around. We talked about that. He plays everywhere, and how can you create challenges? This game's all about creating challenges for the other side. How do we create a mismatch? How do we create an advantage for us? And when you have a guy like Chris, you can move him on the front and do different things for not just in the pass game but in the run game, and the things he's able to do and create problems for an offense. It's a big challenge.
The last couple of weeks, y'all have found some success in sort of late drives to take a lead late, things like that. What are some of the things, maybe the intangibles that aren't talked about as much, that go into a successful late game run?
Oh man, I've been asked that question a lot through my career, and like the times that the teams I've been on that were really good at it, was a lot of poise in the huddle. No matter the situation, hey, it's 4th and 10 at the 50-yard line. We have to execute. No one's freaking out like big eyes. All that in the huddle. It's just, hey, let's see this. I'm gonna come to you, make the play. And the other thing that always sticks out in those moments is players stick out to me. Chris, 2 weeks in a row has told me, he hit me on the leg. He said, "I'm here." And because he always likes to remind me that I told him, hey, end of game, I'm coming to you, And so he likes to remind me. And so, if the coverage dictates and the ball needs to go there, then he's going to go make that play for you. And if not, we're going to go down swinging, knowing that I knew he was ready for that moment. And so, there's different guys, not just Chris, but in that moment, it's just a good example because it's recent. Throughout my years of guys just saying, hey, I got you right here.
Do you feel that there's like a delicate balance between aggression in those moments and maybe, or trying to be too conservative or being so aggressive that you'd be looked at as like desperate almost or things like that?
Yeah, and it's every situation is different. Like the time on the clock, how many timeouts, what's the score? Do you need a field goal? Do you need a touchdown? Because if you need a touchdown and the time is what it is, you got to get even farther, obviously, and all that. So that's why we practice these situations. And, throughout my career, I don't know if I've had the same 2-minute situation in a practice ever, like there's, hey, we're on this yard line, it's this time, you're down this. We do it all the time. We've done it where, hey, we got to pick, you're on the 40 and we need a touchdown, but you're down 7, we're going to go for 2. It's like you work so many different scenarios that I don't know if I've worked the same scenario twice, And so I think that's the beautiful thing about our game is, you watch the film, you study, you create as many challenges in your brain as you can so that when you're in the moment, you make the right decision. And so, there's things too where coaches help you out. Hey, let's be aggressive here. Hey, we don't need to be aggressive yet. Like the really good coaches are really good at helping the quarterback in those situations, just as friendly reminders, and then, I've had them, hey, we don't need to be aggressive, and then we throw a touchdown. It's like, he's like, yeah, they gave us the coverage, so it always changes.
Kind of related to that, is the team's performance in those
cramping up, sorry.
Those like close games, late in the fourth quarter. We've heard some guys say like winning teams make those plays. And you see the Chiefs, and they've closed out a number of like close games this year. Is that important to perform well in those situations?
Absolutely. I think we talk about all the time, like how many of these games in the NFL come down to one score. And so, it's always, I just always loved, those, you always look at the famous, NBA players, they love taking the last shot. And we all remember the ones they make, but they sure missed them too, And so the real thing is like, win or lose, do you want the ball in your hands? Do you have a bunch of guys that say, Coach, call it for me, call it, that's the thing you want to see is that confidence. And if you have that confidence and that ability and you show it out in practice, more times than not, you're going to make it in the game. And sometimes you get in the game and it doesn't happen. I've thrown many game-winning touchdowns, and it's awesome. I've also, thrown a pick at the end and we lost. It sucks, but in that moment, you're like, I don't want anything else, but I want the ball. And so you get a group of guys with that mindset. That to me is, I think, the thing that makes the difference. Just in my own experience, in my time.
Eric, you and Devontae Adams obviously go way back. What's your relationship like with him at this point in y'all's respective careers?
Oh man, me and Tay, our family is he's been one of my best friends, and he always will be one of my best friends. And so we went on vacation, our families together, down to Cabo and all those kind of things. Like that doesn't change no matter what teams we play for. So me and Tay are always close. We always will be close. I love his wife, love his kids, and my kids sure love him, and he always plays with them, so it makes their day too.
Any conversations with them this week?
Yes, but not about what you would probably think. If you saw my phone, you'd probably laugh, but because we're just friends, like business is business. All that kind of stuff is crazy, but yeah, me and Tay, we always talk. So I know it's funny that we're talking this week, but nothing crazy.
Not about the Saints, but has he confided in you, just as a friend, about what is going on with him right now with Las Vegas?
That's all his business, and just as a man, like I would let him talk about all his stuff. He's my friend. He knows I love him, and I'm always here for him, way beyond football. But like if to speak for him, I can't. I would never do that.
You want to play with him again?
I think all 32 quarterbacks would love to play with Devontae. We would welcome that. I don't know if I get in trouble for saying that. I think it's just everyone kind of knows that. Kind of like everyone knew I was doing the Michael Jackson dance, but apparently not. I think everyone would love to play with Tay, and I would obviously, welcome playing with him again if that ever worked out in our careers. He did have 1,500 yards. I think I threw him like 12 touchdowns. So we didn't win as many games as we thought, but it wasn't all bad. So we had fun doing it. That's for sure. But like that business stuff, like we don't even talk about it. Like that stuff's so beyond our control sometimes and I'm so focused here. But would I like to? Everyone would like to.
Schefter did report though that she's interested in reuniting with the quarterback he's played with previously. Like, what does that make you feel like that your previous experience went well enough that he wants to play with you again potentially?
He had I think it was like his second best year of his career, and so, the narrative that it didn't work out is correct because we didn't win as many games, but when it comes to getting him the ball and him scoring a lot of touchdowns, I think it went pretty good.
And you mentioned the fine. Did you appeal it at all? Did any luck there?
I am appealing it next week, so y'all pray for me. Because my wife was like, "Are you kidding me?"
And can you clarify? Were you trying to score at the end, or were you trying to run some clock on the sneaks?
No, I tried to score. When I jumped, my legs got taken out from under me, and I looked really old. And so the young quarterbacks, all the jokes I've given the young quarterbacks, they enjoyed that a lot. And so I went to jump, and they hit my legs, and I had no burst, and I just fell. So we were trying to score. Yeah, but it didn't work.
Yeah, the Drew Brees leap is what you look like you were trying to do.
100%. And I've done it before where you jump and you got it. I've never jumped and they've hit my legs. So I jumped and they hit my legs and I just went dead. And so I promise I could still dunk.
Jerry, how much do you think time for one more?
Okay.
How much do you think this team is still learning how to win? The first couple of games, you got dominated the last couple of touchdowns, just a couple of plays.
Yeah.
Going against Kansas City, they've been able to win.
Yes. It's a great challenge for us to hopefully be in a game like that and be able to make those plays at the end. Against the best football team, in our league right now. And so for us, it's a great challenge. But we do, at the end, I think both sides of the ball have shown, flashes in the last 3 to 2 minutes of a game that we can do that. But it's just at that moment, a lot of different factors, of course. But at that moment, what's going to happen? Time will tell. But we're definitely we got a locker room full of guys that are eager for that opportunity for sure to happen again.
Thanks,
Good.
Aaron. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.